Keane O'Reilly, Gagamuller, how's it going?
Gary Connolly, host in Ireland. It's going very well, thank you. How are you?
You must have done that. You must have done some sort of course for being interviewed. Always repeat back to give yourself a moment. I'm very impressed. So,
That's it. That's it.
thank you so much for bringing me to your favorite bar, the Blue Light in the Dublin Mountains.
Yeah, pleasure. Pleasure is all mine. I've had many a nights up here, probably some early mornings as well. But yeah, local enough to the area, so it's a pub we've frequented with friends and family many a time. So the
Set the
view
scene
itself
a bit.
speaks for itself.
Set set the scene a bit slightly, because obviously, for those that aren't overly familiar, we're outside and we're looking down on Dublin Bay.
We are indeed, yeah. So yeah, the view itself, I think, speaks for itself. I won't try put anything extra on that. It's simple little rural Irish pub. Good Smittix. I'm a Smittix man. The Guinness is good as well. Nice food, and yeah, it's really about the view there. So you
It's
get up the
funny.
back roads. You plan to stay for one. You end up leaving the car for the weekend, and then you struggle home yourself. So it's all part of it.
That's true. And a lot of people now be going around skiing and doing the rest. It's a bit like going up for the après ski in your skis, and you tend to leave your skis at the mid station.
That's it. That's it. There's been a lot more left than that, but we won't get into that.
This is a family show, and we want to keep it that way. But it would have been I would have been brought up reasonably local myself, to the Blue Light, and I would have had a bit of a rep, for bikers. It would have had a sharp edge, wouldn't it? It would have had a sharp enough edge to it.
There is, yeah, all sorts go through there. I think you get a lot of tourists popping in, but then the back roads open it up to all the elements. So yeah, you'll see every shape and character up there, which adds to it.
Yeah, yeah, but we always used to go there if you wanted to experience. When the new road was built, there were very few places you could stop and look back over the bay.
Yeah.
Um, and as I'm so glad that we picked this outdoor one on a nice day. It's always like this in Dublin, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. We're
Yeah,
actually, I'm due to go up there for my brother's stag now in the next month or two. So
it, it's
yeah, that'll be the
definitely
next time I get up there again.
it's definitely a spot. If you're on your way to Johnny Fox's or you're on your way to the back roads, then it's scary. It's at the Blue Light, Dublin Mountains. I don't know what the address would be. Kiltiernan, maybe.
Yeah, around
Yeah.
there, yeah.
So we're sitting outside, you and I, at that bench there, and
Lovely.
motorbike Harley Davidson rocks up outside, helmet off. Who would you love it to be, dead or alive, to have a pint with?
Have to be Phil in it for me. We're a big Tin Lizzy family growing up. My dad's from Sundrive Road. The music's been playing in the house since as long as I remember. The album's been playing. There was a documentary recently enough on them as well. So Phil in it for me would be the man to sit down and have a pint with.
And yet, when they were alive and he was kicking, they were greatly under appreciated by so many as just close to a cover act, because they had a few of the old Rebel song covers. But Jeannie Mac, there was an awful lot more to the band and him than we gave them credit for back then, right?
Oh, absolutely, they're amazing. Some of the albums they put out, and even how he came. I love how he came across in interviews. Such a proud Irishman. It really kind of came through him so vividly. And then as he progressed, it's funny you mentioned the kind of songs. Whiskey in the Jar, used to end up hate playing that because it was such a famous song. He wanted to show else what else he could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, amazing band, amazing singer, amazing artist. So yeah, I'd say he'd have some stories to tell as well.
It's hard to believe, but I do believe they're still on the go in some capacity. Thin Lizzy. I don't know how many of the band original will be still, but I did see, uh God, it's not that long ago, Thin Lizzy, and any amount of imitation acts, right?
Yeah, and they used to have a night every year. It's only finished up, or they didn't ran it for about 25 years. The Vibe for Philo. So cover bands would come in for the night. It was in Whelan's one of the years I was there, and it's just everyone comes together. Everyone's a big Tin Lizzy Phil Lynott fans, and loads of tribute bands get up and play, and it was a great night.
Yeah, but authenticity is something that you'd probably throw on his doorstep, right? At a time, when we weren't terribly diverse in Ireland, he rose
Mm,
above it. You were used the word proud, a proud
mm.
man, and his heritage and the whole lot. His mother might have passed away not too long ago as well, and there was a whole refresh of all her stuff, wasn't there? Or was there a plaque unveiled or something?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, yeah. She was very open. Like my sister would have been over to the house and heard stories from her as well. She only passed a couple of years ago, but yeah, I never met her now, but a great woman by all accounts.
But you just know, don't you? You're so right. You just know that if you was to sit down, uh, you'd have some stories to tell.
And you'd have some way of telling them as well.
Yeah, I am absolutely sure of it. So, so motivation, right? Motivation.
Hmm.
How does it? How do you keep motivated? How do you keep interested? What
It's a
drives
big
you on?
question. It's a big question. I actually come from a sales background where everything's kind of very metric driven. So typically how I'd look at it is day to day, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter. So within those kind of time frames, there's different elements where you can say, okay, within today I need to get this done. Within this week, I need to get this done within the month. And you can kind of roll it out and kind of formulate a plan within that. Um, that's more the kind of your work activities. One thing I've found over the years as I've kind of progressed through my career, so important to have interests outside of work. You need to have your own time. You need to have something to let off some steam, refresh, reset, and then it just kind of invigorates you to go again. So I'd be a big advocate for not putting every single second you have into your work. You need to have your own time, your own interests, and having that balance will help you stay motivated from my own learning anyway.
And what is that alternative outside of work interests?
Um, for me, it's basic enough. I go to the gym, I do a bit of boxing training, spend time with family. I'm trying to cook. I recently had a daughter, so I'm trying to take on the role of a family man. I've tried cooking a few Sunday roasts. We still ordered the Chinese after I made a mess of it, but sure, look, it's all it's all in a day's work. So it's simple as that. But yeah, sport and exercise would be a big one for me.
You haven't quite had the National Lampoon's Christmas yet, where you open the turkey and all that's left is fresh air, but you, you'll get there. Isn't it
That's it.
Isn't it interesting? What going back to your sales? That was. Did you lean into sales as a career, or did you fall into it, or what? How did you arrive at sales?
Yeah, my career is probably, I suppose, everyone's unique in their own way. I went to college as a mature student to study business. Throughout that time, I'd worked a couple of part-time jobs. I worked in an insulation factory with a good friend of mine to kind of pay the bills and get a few quid in. So I went back to college. I finished then when I was not too mature. I was about 23, just 1 or 2 years after kind of everyone else.
Yeah,
Um, and through friends I'd met, a lot of recruitment was very big at the time. So I kind of set my mind. I'm pretty stubborn. Once I decide something, this is for better or worse. Now I'm like, right, I'm doing that. So I said I was going to get into recruitment. And then yeah, just networked, got a few interviews, and joined Hayes, who would be a big recruitment agency.
yeah,
So started my career there, and then actually kind of stumbled into EY, financial services, which was less sales and more kind of high volume recruitment.
yeah.
And then the elements of that job, just talking to people, having conversations, understanding why they want to move, what they're interested in, just made me kind of full circle back to sales. So I'd done that for a couple of years and then ended up in Indeed in tech sales for just under 4 years before Gaga Muller. So yeah, it's something I didn't initially plan on, but once I set my mind to it, I was like, right, I'm doing this. And I haven't looked back.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hustling and selling for all my career, but I always think it's a much maligned um, part of the cycle of that is business because it's hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
To
not
be good
easy.
is hard. To be good, it's hard.
To be
You know,
consistent, it's hard as
to
well. To
be
be in it for a long time, it's hard. Yeah, but the rewards are there as well.
the rewards. So, it's all those jobs you just mentioned. It sounds like you were here before. Because when I look at you, I see someone that's in their very early career, but you're obviously not with all that experience in your pocket. So, quote, have you picked up any quotes along the way, or little anecdotal sayings that you think are interesting?
Yeah, like I was looking at quotes here before coming on the call last night, and I was looking at all these big inspirational ones, and I was like, what could sound clever and smart? But the best advice I ever got was from my older sister, and she said, look after number one. That was it. And you can apply that to anything you want. But the lesson for me at the time was to look, not think too far ahead. It's easy to overcomplicate things and try to think what will have a knock-on effect. But if you look after yourself, whether that's business, personal, your best interest, your best effort, your best output, the rest will fall into place. So I've applied that to several kind of areas of my life. Less so personal with a fiance and a daughter. I think I'm number three in the pecking order, but it's certainly in terms of my work life, it's been a pretty valuable tool for me.
I was just actually going to say that with the sound of your change in life, and your circumstances, it can be a challenge if you live by that with your daughter, with your
Mm,
fiance.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, like it's good up to a point. I'm number three now, so I'd say look after number one, which is number one and two, and then don't forget about number three, probably.
and wait till you get a dog. Wait till you get the
Yeah,
dog, and wait till the fish comes along and all the rest of it. But I think I get exactly what you're saying. I think I get exactly what you're saying. I think it's a little bit like that old saying of you're in a plane and you're losing altitude. And the first thing they always tell you is take oxygen in yourself. Because if you
mhm,
don't, your kids are gonna, So it's always that sort of balance, isn't it? Knowing that,
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. And look after number one, like initially off the bat, that can come across as selfish, but that's not the intention for it. It's to understand what's really important to you. If we put it to a business sense, right, what needs to be done? What's number one priority? Get that done, and then what's the next one? So there's
I
many
think
applications for it.
we're not gonna declare your age and stuff, but have you been here before? Have you somehow been here in a life before? Because you're not meant to be this wise and have this wisdom and have all these sort of, you know, quarterly targets, yearly, and all the rest. You're not meant to have this. You're not meant to arrive at that wisdom until you get to my age, and even then, you start forgetting the stuff. But Keen, it's been short, sharp, and but it's very enjoyable. Thank you for bringing us to the top of the Dublin Mountains. Because honestly, it's not the worst place to have a Sidona, is it?
No, it's not. You could do a lot worse in the world. But thanks very much for having me, Gary. It was a pleasure. And look, we might get up there in person one day.
We might. Well, thank you for your time for now. Take it easy, man.
Take care, Gary.